Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. Let's see, low-grade comic book collecting. You know, I guess we all collect, what we can, what we could get our hands on, whether it's due to a financial reason or availability reason. I don't know. I guess the reason why I'm bringing up this topic is because I think sometimes people tend to look down on low-grade comic book collecting. This is just my experience, okay? It's not just something that popped into my head. It's been my experience. I remember years ago, this one guy mentioned that, anything below a 9.0 is low-grade to me. I mean, obviously he's trying to flex, I guess, or whatever. But that aside, I see nothing wrong with low-grade comic book collecting for those reasons. It depends on what's available and what you can afford. The idea of this hobby, and I think this really boils it all down. The idea of this hobby, or really any hobby, is that you collect what makes you happy. If you are happy with having a lower grade comic of a comic that you really, really like, and that's something that you're really into, you're passionate about it, you're happy to own it, then that's great. That's it. If you want something a little higher, that's good too. For me, I started to move out of low grade because, I started out as pretty much a low grade comic book collector for several reasons. But then I decided that, when I had the means, I wanted to slowly move out of low grade and get into something just a little bit higher, whether it was mid grade or even high grade. So that's where I'm at right now. I say this over and over again in these discussion videos that it really depends where you're at in the hobby. You may be at a point in the hobby where all you can afford is a certain number, and that number goes along with having a lower grade. Well, if that's where you're at and that makes you happy, that's fine. And down the line, that might change. That's fine too. You kind of grow with the hobby as you do with other things in life. So, I see nothing awful about low-grade comic book collecting. Excuse me. Like I said, I started out there and I was able to get some nice grades down the line recently because of having those low grades. I purchased some of these books years ago. And it's only recently where some of these books went up in value. I was able to sell off the low grade books, raise a little bit of funds, and get a nicer grade. That could be something that you would like to do down the line, or now, or maybe not. Again, I think collecting low grade is, it's different for everybody. I think there's obviously value in that. I remember there was this one guy that I was talking to. I had a lower grade copy of Shock Suspense Stories number 6. And I sold it off last year in 2024. And I got myself a nice mid-grade copy of that. So anyway, it was in a slab. I had a 3.0 copy, which I thought was really, really cool. And the guy wanted I offered to sell it I offered it for sale. This other guy was interested in it. And, I said to him, hey, because he said he wanted to crack it out of the slab because he likes his books raw. That's just the way he has his collection. So to have he wasn't against slabbing, but he just liked his raw books. And to have one book that's in a slab, kind of like threw his equilibrium off. But I tried to tell him, maybe you don't want to do that because you have it on a slab, you have the 3.0, maybe one day you might want to upgrade, and it might be a little easier for you to upgrade something that's already in the slab than saying, hey, I want to sell this raw and have to deal with somebody else saying, well, I don't think it's a 3.0. I think it's a 2 or a 2.5. Having to deal with that, back and forth nonsense. And he said, no. I'm not interested in upgrading. And that was a moment where I kind of started putting my own belief system on somebody else. But my point is that there are people out there that really don't mind having low grade books. And, you know, again, that's something that we all should be accepting of. And, you know, brings a certain level of joy to people that maybe some others don't think so. Like that guy I mentioned in the beginning of the video, like, oh, everything below 9.0 is low grade to me. You know, it's sometimes you deal with people like that, you know. But anyway, nice short video. Didn't want to go on and on about this. I just wanted to bring up the topic and see what you all thought about low grade collecting. Do you collect low grade, or were you a low grade collector? What changed? What didn't change? All those sort of things. As always, thanks for tuning in. Take care.